I was lucky enough to see the newest Guy Ritchie film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, a couple weeks early, and you're probably wondering, is it any good? Let's find out right now.
That is not a dog. That is my wife.
It's very good.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. As I said in the intro, I'll be reviewing The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare today. It's a truly long title. I don't know why it's titled that long, but I'm going to review that today in a non-spoiler fashion. Before we get started, though, make sure you leave a like, follow me on all the socials, link down below. I'm going to read you guys a quick plot synopsis just so you know what the movie's about. The British military recruits a small group of highly skilled soldiers to strike against German forces behind enemy lines during World War II. And as I said, this is a Guy Ritchie film. He is the director of this movie. I want to ask a quick question. How does this man do it? He keeps doing it over and over again. I feel like Guy Ritchie is always working. He's just in the lab making something new, making a TV show, making a movie. I've never seen out. Like, he's always working. I don't know. He's always working on something new, but good for him because he's always busy, always making something interesting and something different. You know, all of his movies are kind of the same, but they have different elements and all that. And, you know, because I feel like he gets almost like 2 new projects out every single year, which is a lot of projects for a director, because some directors, you know, take many years off. Some directors don't even get like a project out every 5 years. Like, it's crazy. He gets almost 2 projects out a year, because last year he had The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal, which I actually really enjoyed. And then he had Operation Fortune with Jason Statham, which I actually enjoyed a decent bit, but I don't think that was as good as The Covenant. So he had 2 things last year, and it seems that this year he also has 2 things, because he wrote the Netflix series The Gentleman, which I heard good things about, but I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to watch it. And as I said, he directed this movie, which I think that this movie has too long of a title. Could have shortened it just a little bit, because maybe the marketing's not going to do too great. I don't know how the box office for this movie is going to go, because this movie does seem more like a streaming movie, which I don't like saying to movies, but I feel like this one kind of is. But I still enjoyed seeing it in theaters, and I think that, you know, if it doesn't do well at the box office, I think that it will do really well in digital, because I know a lot of people that probably will check this out when it hits digital. So if it doesn't do well in the box office, it probably will top the charts on digital. And you know, every time I go into a Guy Ritchie movie, I just go in expecting a fun time with any of his movies, and that's what I did for this one, because I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. And I'm glad to say that I did have a lot of fun with this movie. Is it perfect? No, it's far from perfect. But was it, you know, I didn't go in expecting a perfect movie with a perfect script, perfect score. Like, this isn't no Dune Part 2. This is a Guy Ritchie movie, and I had a good time with it, so I'm happy. I feel like if you set your expectations in a good spot, I think you'll also have a pretty good time with this one. And because it's just one of those fun action movies. So let's talk about the action. It's an action film, and, you know, let's talk about how much there is and how good of the action there is. And I did wish there was more action in this movie, and we'll get to why when we get to the pace part of this review. Because, you know, I just loved every single moment where the guys and also the girl in this movie were shooting the Nazis. I was having the time of my life. I was like, just give me more of this. Give me more. Because you have like Henry Cavill just pulling up with just his, I don't know. Don't come at me in the comments. I don't know guns. So don't ask me what kind of guns they're using. But they have silencers on their guns, and they're just shooting everyone. There's like, and I'm like, I'm having the time of my life here. And there's still a decent amount of action. There's still a decent amount there. But for a 2-hour runtime, I kind of wanted more. Give me some like Mission Impossible stuff. But it was still cool to just see them shooting all the Nazis. I was like, I'm having a great time here. And I thought that, one of the strongest scenes was the opening scene. I laughed in that scene. I thought it was hilarious. And also, this movie is kind of a comedy. I wanted kind of more kind of comedy, because, you know, a lot of it gets revealed in the trailer. So I kind of wanted more. But, you know, the opening scene was really fun. And I had a lot of fun, especially when you get to that third act and things just start going crazy. I feel like that's where the action really shine, when you have everyone together. When they're not together, that's where it didn't shine, but still, there's a lot of fun to be had with this action. And I do want to give a compliment to the editing in this film, because all of Guy Ritchie's films always have this fast editing style. And, you know, I think that's really special in the film. They have some great editing. They know when to cut away fast or go slow with the scene. And I always appreciate a good film with some great editing. And I think Guy Ritchie's films always have some great editing. And I think that this one also does have some pretty good editing. But let's talk about this all-star cast, because this is a great cast. One of, I think, Guy Ritchie's best casts in his movie. Of course, Henry Cavill, the one and only Superman, until we get our new Superman next year. Henry Cavill, I really do enjoy him in an action movie, especially when he was in Mission Impossible Fallout. Argyle from earlier this year, we're not going to talk about that. Henry Cavill, you got a good movie on your hands with this one. Just talk about this one. This is a really great one. I saw some interviews with the whole cast. I think that they all have some great chemistry. Henry Cavill's great in this one. Then you have Alan Richardson, of course, the Reacher, man. This guy is jacked. And like just seeing him in the opening scene, he doesn't even fit in his shirt. Like, does a shirt fit this man? I swear he's jacked. He's, Alan Ritchson. I think I saw an interview. He's like campaigning to play Batman in a new DC, James Gunn's DC, and I'm like, because he in this movie he doesn't really use guns. He uses like a knife. And he uses his bow and arrow. And I'm like, why don't you just play, why don't you just play Oliver from, the DC, the Green Arrow? Why don't you just play him? You're already using the arrow and a bow and arrow in this one. I feel like that would be pretty cool. But man, that guy's jacked. Like, he doesn't even need to be a good actor. He is though, but he just needs to show up and start beating people up because I think that's what he's great at. You also got a pretty big guy, Henry Golding, in this one. I think he did a pretty good job. But our two main leads were, of course, Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson. And you also have Isa Gonzalez from, Baby Driver. I thought she's great in that. I think she's a great actress. She deserves a lot more roles. She was also in the Three Body Problem that got released on Netflix. I thought she was great in that. She's always great in these supporting roles, but I wish we can see her in more leading roles. I'd love to see what she does in that. But you got an all-star cast in here. Such a great, such a great team in this movie. I loved everyone together, especially when they came together in the end. Like I said, I love this cast a lot. Henry Cavill, you got a good action movie on your hands finally, but it's still not as good as Mission Impossible Fallout. I think where this movie struggled the most was the pace, which is basically the runtime of this movie and how it flowed. Because this is a 2-hour movie. I think that it's a bit too long. I think that they could have cut off at least 15 to 20 minutes, make it like an hour and 40-minute movie. Because there are some scenes in here where we cut away to the Prime Minister, of course, Winston Churchill, in this time period, and he's talking and all that, talking to the other officials. And I'm like, I think this is kind of needed for the story, but I didn't really care for it. I feel like if we didn't have it, I would still get what's going on. I just want to stick with the the group beating Nazis up, shooting Nazis. That's what I want to stick with. I think that slowed it down just a little bit, made my enjoyment go down just a little bit because I didn't care for it. Let's just go back to the main cast and the action, but I still enjoyed it a little bit. So overall, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, such a long title. Please, it's too long of a title. It was a pretty fun time. I enjoyed it a decent bit. I feel like a lot of other people enjoy it, especially when I said a lot of other people will probably find this on digital. So yeah, I'll probably see it again in theaters because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the cast, but I feel like the pacing is where it struggled just a little bit. Could have been a little bit shorter, but I'll give the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare a quick 7 out of 10 because I loved when they were just shooting the Nazis. That was great fun. Henry Cavill gave just a hilarious performance, and I think everyone in the cast had some great chemistry. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the movie down below. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to talk with you about it. If you did enjoy my review though, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Look at all my other reviews on the channel. Really do appreciate it. We're on the road to 700 subscribers, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.